Well, SmartCrowd is UAE based and it's a digital real estate crowdfunding platform. To get more details on this is Siddiq Farid, the CEO and co-founder of SmartCrowd. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon on Talk 100.3.
Thanks for having me, guys. Excited to be on.
Yeah.
Super. So, Siddiq, tell us first up, how did the thought of SmartCrowd come about?
Yeah, this is interesting. So a few years ago, I wanted to invest my capital into real estate, and being a financial professional, I quickly realized I either need to get leverage or I need to put lots of my capital into one asset. And a finance guy didn't make sense to me. I don't want to have too much concentration in one asset, and I don't want to take. Do you guys have a feedback loop on your side?
No. We can hear you okay, Siddiq. Yes.
Okay, great. Sorry, my apologies. So that's where the idea came, that there has to be a better way for an average person to allocate some capital into this great asset class, with the largest investable asset class that people cannot access. So now, with anyone with $100,000 in investment can invest $50,000 in stocks and bonds and so forth, and still have some money left over to allocate within real estate. And beauty of our platform is you're not putting money into one asset. You get to pick and choose across different portfolio and build a portfolio of real estate, so you can buy some stuff in Marina, in downtown, in JVC, and so forth.
Is there a minimum spend for anyone who's looking to invest?
So our minimum investment is 500 dirhams, right? So we made it extremely easy for people to start off. Obviously, the average investment on our platform is much higher. It's almost 8,000 dirhams. But 500 is for all those skeptical people out there. They're not too sure, etc. They want to start. They can try it out.
No, the financial advisor in me is like, you skip one brunch, you put some money away finally, and you get an opportunity to invest in the real estate market. When you are looking to invest, if I'm coming to you, Siddiq, with a couple of thousand dirhams, generally, what is the time frame you're looking at for investments, and how easy can I get my money out?
Yeah, it's a very good question, right? So we don't take any discretion, meaning we don't take your money and invest on your behalf. So what we do is we provide a platform where essentially it's a marketplace where you come and you evaluate what available opportunities there are. We'll have opportunities, real estate across the city, different rental strategies, long-term, short-term, holiday homes, furnished, unfurnished, service apartments, and so forth, all having different return profile. Once you put money in, there's usually about a 30-day period before all the paperwork, etc., is done and the property is purchased. And every 12th of the month, the rental income goes out. So every 12th of the month, you get paid, right? And then in terms of typically, we advise people, real estate is a long-term investment, so you should hold the investment for at least typically 5 years. Having said that, we're very opportunistic. Sometimes we get unsolicited bids for assets in our portfolio. We present that to the investors, and they can decide if they want to sell or not. In fact, just this summer, we had a property in Marina where we got an unsolicited bid. It was too good not to present it to our investors. And investors decided to exit and walk away. They walked away with a 40% return in a 17-month hold period of time.
Wow.
And for that reason, we've also introduced a secondary market where people can sell their shares to one another as well, too. So that's another way for people to get their money out. And, and that was the whole idea. So not only have we made it easy for people to invest their money, but we've also done a full investment cycle, a full exit, and we've proven the secondary market also works. We have 2.5 times more buyers than sellers on the secondary market. Average premium to current market value was about 5%. Average capital appreciation realized to cost was about 16%. And average return people walked away with about 20% in less than 2 years. So obviously, past results are not indicative of future results, but it proves to the point that having diversification is very important, because if you look at globally in the last 2 years, if you had all your money in stock, bonds, or crypto, you would be pretty not in a happy spot today. True. Right? Especially today, the market is actually down 3% this morning. But having some diversification in a real estate asset class gives you that breadth of managing your capital in an appropriate manner. And the wealthy have been able to do this for a very long time. An average person like myself did not have that opportunity, and that's what SmartCrowd is doing, is trying to help people just manage their capital better.
Siddiq, to make it simpler for the listener who probably may not be as financially educated or involved as you and Kitch are, in that case, how do I give an example? Say if someone is investing 1,000 dirhams, Okay, if you put them to numbers, when you mentioned that every 12 there's a rental income that comes in. So how much do they pocket on an average? I mean, I know that financial markets are subject to market risks, but still.
Yes. So let's assume you put 10,000 dirhams in a property, right? And say that the investment is a 10% generating yield, right? Net yield. So net yield is essentially what your return you're getting for the money that you're investing in, right? So you rent the property out, you pay service charges, you pay property management, and what's left over is the 8% return. So if you're putting 10,000 dirhams investment, 8% of that is 800 dirhams, right? And that is paid out on a monthly basis, not 800 per month, but 800 divided by 12, and that's what you get, right? But what's important over here is when I say those kinds of numbers, right? A lot of people think, oh, well, it's only 800 dirhams a year. It's not even worth my time, etc. Well, that's not the way to look at it when you're looking at a financial return. What you care about is that 8% return, right? Because if you don't put that money anywhere to work, right, that money's going to get spent, right? Or it's going to lose purchasing power, especially with inflation havoc everywhere, right? 8% is beating inflation. So you're keeping your purchasing power in an asset class that is relatively secure, which is real estate, right? And to your point earlier, you talked about land is only so much in the world and so forth. But it's also a natural hedge against inflation. As prices go up for different things, the cost of building a home, apartment also goes up. So that also elevates the price of the property. You've seen what's happened with the rent recently. That also has an impact on the property value. So, Warren Buffett says it best, right? Like Warren Buffett will put his money if he's making 1% return, right? He doesn't look at if it's 1 penny or $1 or $100 million. He's looking from a return perspective. What is my capital doing for me and what kind of return it's providing vis-a-vis the risk that I'm taking for that in particular investment.
Makes sense.
And what return I'm getting, right? So, for example, if you put money into Bitcoin, you don't expect an 8% return. You expect a much higher return because it's a very riskier investment. It's a lot more volatile than something like a real estate that gives you a steady flow of rental income. That's a lower risk, so the return should be lower, and that's how you look at it. Because if you put the money in the bank is going to, these days, they're paying a little bit more, paying you 2-3%. That's about it, right? So that 10,000 dirhams sitting in the bank is giving you 200 dirhams or 300 dirhams, whereas if you invest in property, that's giving you 800 dirhams.
Yeah, Siddiq, it's a great line, especially Warren Buffett's, be fearful when others are greedy. It reminds me of, why cryptos at this stage maybe not the greatest investment. You've worked in around so many corporations in your previous life, working for certainly the big four accounting firms. But when it comes to the company and SmartCrowd looking to invest in property, what has the reaction been from real estate and looking for sellers? Are they loath to sell to institutional investors rather than people, or is the reaction not really been there when it goes to purchasing and your purchasing power?
No, so we deal with lots of sellers, right? Lots of agents as well too, right? We have some really good relationship with a lot of agents that come to us, and they love working with us for various reasons. One, we're professionals, so we know what we're doing. We're well educated about the market, so there's no haggling back and forth of negotiations for us. Second, we don't waste brokers' time in terms of doing viewings and so forth. We know what the property is. We've done our homework, etc. So it's just a matter of we agree on the price, and then it's just a matter of doing paperwork and so forth. So it's the easiest selling process for sellers and for brokers to use us, as opposed to trying to list it on the portals, trying to get leads, chase a bunch of buyers, trying to do viewings, and it just takes a long process where we cut all that out. And if agents are working with us, they can just move to the next deal because they know SmartCrowd is covered. They're given an offer. I don't have to worry about it anymore because everything is taken care of.
Right.
So sellers really, and we're pretty fair, right? Because we do all our homework. We provide all the data on our platform for potential buyers, and we support them with independent market valuation. So it's not like we are trying to take advantage of the buyers or the sellers. We're just a technology platform, a conduit that is trying to facilitate this transaction. So sellers are getting their best price. At the same time, the buyers are getting the best price as well. The market data is provided to them, so it's completely transparent.
No, I mean, I'm still trying to understand this from a perspective that you mentioned that if I'm investing 10,000 dirhams, right, approximately, how do I get, a property to myself? I'm still trying to get it, because yes, in stocks you understand, in Bitcoins you understand.
Sure, yeah. Let me break it down, right? So same idea. So let's take a 1 million dirham apartment in the marina, right? and let's say 10 people come and they each put 100,000 dirhams into it.
Right.
So what we do is we create an SPV. It's a special purpose vehicle. Think of it as a company that we set up in the DIFC, right? And the whole purpose of this company is just to hold this one apartment.
Okay.
Right? And we issue shares in that, right? And 10% share allocated to each individual because they all put 10% worth of money into this vehicle to buy this property. So the actual title deed belongs to this company, this SPV.
Okay.
And you, as one of the shareholders of that company, is registered in the DIFC as a shareholder of this company that owns this property. The same information is also registered with the land department. So you have two government stakeholders that have full visibility that you have rightful ownership in this property, indirectly in proportionate to the capital that you have put in.
Okay.
Then we rent this property out, say after renting it out, holiday homes, all the expenses and so forth, 100,000 dirhams a year comes out of this property. So you will make 10,000 dirhams every year on this property.
Right.
Then we sell this property for 1.5 million. Your 100,000 effectively becomes 150,000 dirhams, and you get that money back as well too. So we essentially structure this as a company, and what this allows us to do is what we have just recently launched as a secondary market, because then you can take your 100,000 worth of shares and you can sell it to your friend or to anyone else on the platform. You might sell all of them, you might sell half of them, and so forth, depending on your situation as to how much liquidity you need.
So there's an element of security there. It's not like if a couple of friends do decide to invest in a property and then a couple of years down the track, one wants to sell out and the other people aren't prepared to buy them out, and it causes all sorts of problems because those sort of situations weren't thought of when they first signed the contract.
Exactly, right? So what we tell people is, risk your capital in investing, don't risk your relationships in investing, right?
Nice.
I'm glad you laughed because I tried to do that as a marketing gimmick internally in my team, and my team just laughed at me. It's like, Siddiq, stick to your finance.
Siddiq. I'm 100% with you. I remember when I did a master's, and then you do all the heavy stuff, and then someone, as a joke present, gave me a book called The Things They Don't Tell You in Business School, and the chapters are quite realistic. It's like, what happens when you go into business with your brother-in-law, but then he decides to leave your sister, and then the relationship suddenly soured. But that's what happens in life.
Which is a fact. I mean, I got into a business with a very dear friend of mine. We were supposed to put in 50% capital both.
Right.
I paid the advance, did the paperwork, all the legalities, almost done. Almost. It's just that we hadn't put our names onto the business line. He comes and says, listen, I don't have the liquidity that is required to put in now, so I think I'll back out. It's not that he's saying that, hey, I'll pay, give you PDCs or whatever, and then I'll pay you later or whatever. He says, I'm backing out. I was neck deep into the business. I had to go all in. And obviously, yes, post that, I mean, our relationships definitely, became sour. So, I mean, I completely related to what you said.
We structure it. Exactly, right? So we can actually help, like if a bunch of friends want to get together and buy an apartment as an investment and so forth, we can help structure that as well too in a very legal manner on our platform as well too. So what that does, it gives you peace of mind. You can sleep better at night because your investment is well structured and it's completely safe from that prospect.
Right.
Well, Siddiq, I think this is a fantastic initiative. Congratulations on you, not only setting up the company, but really having an example of the Dubai entrepreneurial mindset for having the nous to kind of go at it yourself. Congratulations on your work.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much, and thanks for having me on. People can check us out at SmartCrowd.ae. You can check us out on YouTube, SmartCrowd.ae, on Instagram, on TikTok. You can message us at info@smartcrowd.ae. Happy to answer any questions. And it's only 500 dirhams. Skip a brunch, make an investment, and have many brunches paid for.
That's the best way to do it, isn't it? Siddiq Farid, the CEO and co-founder of SmartCrowd. Thanks for joining us on Talk 100.